This question is asking which of the following is not a sign of anaphylactic shock. So as a reminder, anaphylactic shock is what the body goes into during a severe allergic reaction. So people could have minor allergic reactions if they have some itching, some minor hives, but a severe allergic reaction is anaphylactic shock. That's where the throat could close up, they could stop breathing, they have multiple body systems involved. So now we're going to look through the options here and see which one is not a typical sign or symptom of this anaphylactic shock or the severe allergic reaction that we're referring to here. So option A says dry mouth and thirst. So this is kind of vague. That's not typically the sign of a very severe allergic reaction. When you're thinking of a very severe allergic reaction, you typically would not be thinking of a dry mouth and thirst. There are lots of things that could be a symptom of, and I think that is a good choice to put on our not list. So we're going to choose option A, but let's look at options B, C, and D, just in case there's something that's a better choice. So taking a look at option B, rapid or weak pulse. And yes, that is a sign of a shock in general. Not necessarily anaphylactic shock, but it could be for anaphylactic shock or just any type of shock that the heart rate could get very fast trying to compensate. That is something that would be a sign of anaphylactic shock or just shock in general. But since the question has not here, that means that we can eliminate option B, rapid or weak pulse, because that is something that we would see. Looking at option C, hives and itching. Hives and itching are the classic signs of an allergic reaction. It might not necessarily be a sign of anaphylactic shock, but it could definitely be present with anaphylactic shock because maybe they started off having hives and itching and then it progressed into anaphylactic shock. So this is definitely a classic presentation of any sort of allergic response, and therefore we will eliminate it since the question is asking which is not. And then option D, shortness of breath, absolutely. The person could start having trouble breathing as their throat is quite literally tightening up, and they're going into anaphylactic shock. And again, since the question says not, we can eliminate option D. And that leaves us with our initial instinct of option A, dry mouth and thirst, not being a sign or symptom of anaphylactic shock.